Subhanallah, anytime we hear a topic about the grave, it will mention the punishment and the torment of the grave. But there are people who will be blessed in the grave. May Allah make me and you among them. What are some of these blessings that the believer will get in his or her grave? So inshallah, we will mention today 9 of them. First, thabat, steadfastness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. Allah gives firmness to those who believe with the firm word in this life and in the hereafter. So the first blessing is that the believer will be able to answer these 3 questions very easy. Subhanallah, look at the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jal. He gave us the questions, He gave us the answers, and He gave us 50, 60, 70 years to prepare for the answers. Allahu Akbar. How great is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the believer, the first blessing is that he or she will be able to answer these 3 questions easily. When they are asked, who's your ilah, who's your Lord? They will be able to say, Allah. What's your deen? They will be able to say it easily, Islam. Who is the messenger? What's the name of the messenger sent to you? They will be easily answering Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. May Allah give us all thabat when we are questioned. Second blessing, subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order the grave of the believer to be furnished from Jannah. Subhanallah. People are worried when they go into the grave. Oh, the grave is, a place that does not smell good. It is very tight. It is very hot. It's very cold. Subhanallah. Not the grave of the believer. It will be furnished from Jannah. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes we go to a furniture store and we see stuff that we cannot afford. A couch for $10,000 and a seat for $3,000-$4,000 and a chair for that much. Subhanallah. And still, these are dunya furniture. The grave of the believer will be furnished from Jannah. Silk. The description is beyond our imagination. لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت ولا خطر على قلب بشر. No eye has ever seen what's in Jannah. No ear has ever heard what's in Jannah. And no mind could ever conceive what's in Jannah. So the second blessing, the grave will be furnished from Jannah. Third, the believer will be clothed. He will have clothing from Jannah. It's an order from Allah. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Clothes from Jannah? Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us among these people. So the third blessing, the person will be clothed from Jannah. Listen to the fourth blessing. A window to Jannah will be open in the grave, and that person, that believer, will enjoy watching his or her place in Jannah day and night. The hadith is in Bukhari and in Muslim. He is in the grave watching the place in Jannah, seeing Jannah day and night. Allahu Akbar. What a view. Sometimes we pay extra for a ocean view, for a garden view. Here you have a Jannah view. Jannah view while you are in the grave. Allahu Akbar. Fifth, to the person looking into the grave, he will see a very tight 2x6 maybe. But the grave of the believer, Allah will order for that grave to expand as far as the person's sight can reach. as far as he can see. This is how big or how large the grave will get, the grave of the believer. It will expand. In another narration, 70 cubits by 70 cubits. Allahu Akbar. That grave that we see that is too tight, it will expand for the believer. And the sixth blessing is that we are looking from inside and we put all this dirt and we cover it and all that, and we say that subhanallah, it's so dark in there. No, not for the believer. The sixth blessing is that a light, that grave will be filled with light. Subhanallah. Expanded and light and looking at Jannah, and also will get the fragrance of Jannah. All that smell that you're worried about, don't worry. You will be getting the smell of Jannah in the grave. Seventh, the believer will sleep like a newly wed groom. Why did Rasulullah ﷺ give that description, that the person will sleep like a groom, and the sister, the believing sister, will sleep like a bride? That means they will be so happy and comfortable. This is how the grave of the believer will become when he or she has done their best in the dunya. Eighth, the time will be controlled by Allah Azza wa Jal. If a person has died since the days of Adam and he or she were believers, that time, which is thousands of years to us, for them it will be a very short period of time, because the time is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As if they have spent, we all know the story of the man who passed by the village that was ruined. He slept for 100 years. And when he woke up, he was asked, how long did you stay? He said, day or half a day. And we know the story of the people of the cave. They spent 309 years. So the time is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the believer will not feel that long time in the grave. It will pass very quickly. And the ninth blessing, subhanallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, a man with a beautiful face, beautiful garments, and a sweet odor comes to the believer in his grave and says, rejoice in what pleases you, for this is your day which you have been promised. The person will ask, who are you? Your face is perfectly beautiful and looks like it brings good. Who are you? And the person will reply and says, I am your good deeds. Allahu Akbar. So that believer will have a companion, a good-looking companion through the whole period, through the whole time in the grave. He will have a good-looking companion. So that companion is the amal salih, is the righteous deeds that we did above the ground. All that fasting, all that salat, all that charity, all that good treatment to the parents, all that good treatments to the spouse, all that good treatment to the children, all the kindness, everything that we have done, it will be formed into a righteous, into a beautiful, good-looking person that will accompany us in the grave. So this is the time to work so hard in order to earn all these blessings. We have to work very hard while we are still above the ground in order to get all these blessings. We do not want to be from the people who will say, Ya Allah, bring me back so I can do good. My brothers and sisters, if you are watching me, that means you are still above the ground. So let's work very hard in order to make our graves piece of the garden of Jannah and not a pit of the hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enlighten all our graves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our graves a part of Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the graves of our parents a piece of Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our last deeds, our best deeds, and our last words لا إله إلا الله. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. I love you all for the sake of Allah.